USC just landed the top quarterback recruit of 2026, plus the latest on the quarterback battle going on at Ohio State. All of that and more on today's episode of 4th and 10. 4 college football stories in just around 10 minutes. Now, let's go for it. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe, it's one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. The Trojans got quite the pickup in the recruiting world as the #1 quarterback prospect in 2026 committed to USC. Juliette Lewis, who's only a sophomore in high school, committed to the Trojans on Tuesday. Lewis had national offers and was wanted by schools such as Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State. But he has seen the development of quarterbacks under Lincoln Riley, and that's what led him to USC. Here's what he told On3 about his decision to commit to the Trojans. At the end of the day, it is about what Lincoln Riley does with quarterbacks. Coach Riley develops quarterbacks. He really knows how to manage the room, and he knows how to feature guys at that position. The track record he has with quarterbacks really made a big difference in my recruitment. Lewis didn't originally plan on committing this early. As a current class of 2026 recruit, he still has more than 2 years until he can sign his national letter of intent. But after all the visits he took with USC and the conversations he had, he decided that he wanted to be a Trojan. I thought it would be January or next spring before I made my decision, but the timing and the school just made too much sense. There was no reason to wait any longer. I felt strong about USC. They made me feel like their guy, and the timing just happened earlier than I thought it would. It is hard to leave what I have right in my own backyard. Alabama and Georgia are two of the most dominant programs in college football, so it wasn't easy. But I went where I felt was best for me, and that was USC. The way Coach Riley recruits quarterbacks made a big difference. He is all about development, and he has shown that with the guys he has coached at Oklahoma and now Caleb Williams at USC. As the head coach and offensive coordinator, the offense will always be centered around the quarterback under Coach Riley, and I couldn't pass up this opportunity. I really didn't think too much about USC early, but after that visit and getting the offer, I looked at them differently. It was almost unreal when I got that offer. I was blown away by the offer and my time with Coach Riley that day. We watched film, spent about 2 hours together, and really started our connection. When we watched film together, he just talked to me about how we could have fun working together and how my skill set was unique. I'm excited to work with him. He's excited to work with me, and he feels we can do great things at USC. I love his offensive mind, what he does with quarterbacks, and the culture and energy he's brought to USC. USC is becoming quite the place to be a quarterback with Lincoln Riley as the head coach. After Caleb Williams leaves, they're set up pretty nicely over the next couple of seasons. Moving on, Michigan self-imposed a 3-game suspension for football coach Jim Harbaugh to begin the 2023 season. This stems from alleged violations during the COVID-19 dead period. Here's what Athletic Director Ward Manuel said in a statement. While the ongoing NCAA matter continues through the NCAA process, today's announcement is our way of addressing mistakes that our department has agreed to in an attempt to further that process. We will continue to support Coach Harbaugh, his staff, and our outstanding student athletes. Per the NCAA's guidelines, we cannot comment further until the matter is resolved. In a statement released by the school, Harbaugh said, "I will continue to do what I always tell our players and my kids at home. Don't get bitter, get better." Back in July, Harbaugh was set for a negotiated resolution and a 4-game suspension to begin the season, but the NCAA's Infractions Committee rejected the agreement earlier in August. Harbaugh is going to be allowed to coach during the week, but he'll be barred from coaching those first 3 games of their season. According to an article from ESPN, Michigan's decision to self-impose the 3-game suspension of Harbaugh is indicative of the severity of the eventual potential ruling against Harbaugh in the future. The article says it's a move that shows the school is trying to mitigate some of the eventual punishment that comes down on him. Harbaugh has declined to comment about the investigation, but said back in July at the Big Ten Media Days, "I'd love to lay it all out out there. There's nothing to be ashamed of, but now is not that time. With less than 2 weeks to go until Ohio State's first game of the season, Buckeyes head coach Ryan Day said the team still hasn't named a starting quarterback, and that's probably the biggest quarterback battle currently going on still in college football. After losing CJ Stroud to the NFL draft, the battle is currently between Kyle McCord and Devin Brown going into the first week of the season. It's college football. Every year has a different story. Every year has a different challenge. I know, in my heart, this thing will work itself out. I'm proud of the way the guys are competing. If I felt any other way, I'd say it. But now they're going to have to go, keep pushing through, competing, and if it goes into the season, it goes into the season. Ryan Day said that the staff is currently split right down the middle on the quarterbacks, but he doesn't view it as a problem for the team. Him and the coaches are confident that either quarterback is more than capable of running the offense, and he said there's a possibility that both quarterbacks play in the season opener. There was a point twice in camp where I thought one was pulling away from the other, then 2 practices went by and the other one really played well and the other one kind of leveled off. And I would let them know too, right then and there. I'd say you were pulling away and he kind of just took over a little bit. One thing's for sure is they can't take it down off. They can't take a playoff. McCord was an ESPN 300 quarterback back in the 2021 class. He was ranked number 31 overall. Meanwhile, Brown was also an ESPN 300 recruit and was the number 81 overall recruit of his 2022 class. McCord has a year of experience over Brown, and if the competition persists heading into the season, that experience could be the difference maker. Ryan Day didn't seem concerned when discussing the battle and has said this offseason the Buckeyes have dealt with quarterback changes in the past. He hasn't named a starter yet and hasn't seen separation among the 2 quarterbacks, but believes that the season will sort the job out and that once the players get into game action, one quarterback will be able to pull away from the other. Personally, I didn't think it would be this long into the offseason in which Ohio State would be naming their starter. I mean, obviously, I'm not following closely with how things are going at Ohio State, but I was expecting McCord by now. Maybe that ends up being the decision at the time the season starts, but it's certainly interesting that a battle is still going on. Speaking of quarterback battles, Florida Atlantic no longer has one as they named Casey Thompson their starting quarterback. Thompson, who spent time at Texas and Nebraska, has been the favorite to win the job since he transferred. Over his career, he started 20 games, 10 at Texas and 10 at Nebraska. Back in 2021, he threw 24 passing touchdowns for the Longhorns, leading all Big 12 quarterbacks. Thompson entered college in 2018 after being recruited by current FAU coach Tom Herman. Thompson was one of the more sought-after quarterbacks in the portal as he visited Auburn and drew interest from Notre Dame and Houston. During his career, Thompson's thrown for 47 passing touchdowns with nearly 5,000 yards. So he has a lot of experience for this Owls team. Thompson told ESPN back in May that the reasons he chose Florida Atlantic were because of his relationship with Tom Herman, along with the coaching staff and the supporting cast. It also doesn't hurt that Florida Atlantic leads the American Conference in overall returning production, including their offensive line, which is projected to be the best in program history. Well, that wraps it up for today's episode of 4th and 10. What are your thoughts on the 4 topics I covered in today's video? Whatever they are, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're a college football fan, this is definitely the place for you. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.